good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Arts Television. I'm Shine Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Import expenditure declines for the 7th consecutive month. President establishes committee to drive trade negotiations. News in detail. Earnings from exports remained robust in September 2022, while import expenditure declined for the 7th consecutive month on a year-on-year basis. This is as per the External Sector Performance Report issued by the Economic Research Department by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The decline in import expenditure reflects significant reduction in imports of non-food consumer goods and investment goods. Year-on-year, the merchandise trade deficit recorded a notable contraction in September 2022. In September 2022, workers' remittances increased marginally. Earnings from tourism recorded an increase. Foreign investment in the government securities market and the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded a notable net inflow. The central bank continued to provide forex liquidity to finance essential imports, exhausting the liquid level of gross official reserves. Meanwhile, the weighted average spot exchange rate in the interbank market remained around 362 rupees per US dollar during the month. The balance in the merchandise trade account recorded a deficit of $206 million US dollars. In terms of trade, the ratio of the price of exports to the price of imports deteriorated by 1.1% compared to September 2021, as the increase in import prices surpassed the increase in export prices. Earnings from merchandise exports grew 4.3% to $1,079 million US dollars. Expenditure on merchandise imports declined 15.8% to $1,284 million US dollars. President Ranil Wickremesinghe recently emphasized the need to gradually liberalize the service sector to attract export-oriented foreign direct investment. The president also aims to take steps to gain membership in the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks during a meeting with officers of the National Trade Negotiations Committee. During the meeting, the president discussed the nature of free trade negotiations, the future of international trade, and on aligning policy priorities in this regard. While expanding international trade activity, the government will implement a trade adjustment program to help local industries adapt to competition. As part of the economic reform program, the government aims to re-engage the global economy, providing access to regional and global supply chains. The government aims to deepen penetration into the USA and Europe and is therefore targeting comprehensive free trade agreements with large and emerging economies. The National Trade Negotiation Committee is tasked with reviving negotiations on free trade agreements with India, China, and Thailand. These markets are seen to provide opportunity for large foreign direct investment and export potential. This will provide local industries affected by the economic crisis with capital inputs, raw material, and intermediate goods at a lower cost. A delegation comprising over 80 travel and tourism firms yesterday began a fresh push for Sri Lanka's destination marketing at the 3-day World Travel Market 2022 in London. Over 100 personnel led by Minister of Tourism Harin Fernando have met global travelers during the on-site promotions at the Excel World in London. Sri Lanka Tourism last week officially unveiled travel packages to woo around 5,000 global soccer fans to a fever zone in Negombo. 3 special packages starting from $650 US dollars, including travel and accommodation, focus on the 4 to 5 day break between matches from the 20th of November to the 18th of December. This month, Sri Lanka welcomed 8,552 visitors within the first 5 days, largely driven by Russian tourists. This boosts winter season confidence. The boost in arrivals was largely influenced by the return of Aeroflot, the Russian flag carrier, and Azur Air, Russia's largest charter airline. So far, 576,810 visitors have arrived in Sri Lanka, according to provisional data from the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. Central bank data shows that earnings from the tourism sector crossed $1 billion US dollars in October. Meanwhile, Air France recently returned to Sri Lanka, resuming its thrice-weekly flights from Paris. This coincides with the current winter season. Air France maintains that customers from Colombo can connect to its global network of over 170 destinations via the Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
IWS Aviation.
Welcome back after the break. Chairman of the Planters Association of Ceylon, Sena Kalawat-Tegama, during a recent media briefing called for government support on various matters in the sector. The association maintains that the support will help to both make the plantation sector be more productive while saving foreign exchange of the nation.
Our industry is also calling for a reversal on the ban on oil palm cultivation in order to help conserve foreign exchange. If we are able to resume sustainable cultivation of oil palm, we can generate the kind of income necessary to sustain additional investments across the entire plantation industry. Here too, we are hopeful of a positive response from the government. Similarly, the government has already taken progressive measures in controlling the import of latex. This will help mitigate the sudden drop in rubber prices that we have seen in the recent months and help local producers obtain a fair price. Finally, we are calling for the spirit of privatization to be respected by providing regional plantation companies with the freedom to diversify the crops where land has become unsuitable for existing primary plantation crops by converting such extents into coconut, cinnamon, coffee, cardamom and other valuable crops.
Speaking further, Chairman Kalawat-Tegama stressed the importance of wage reform and how this will improve productivity. He also maintains that this move will lead to sustainable livelihoods for all plantation sector workers.
Our association is once again calling for the commencement of immediate discussions in order to align all stakeholders on the importance of reforming the 150-year-old colonial era daily wage model. In its place, we are calling for a productivity-linked revenue share in emulation of what has been practiced with great success in the smallholder sector for decades. With such a system, we will be able to provide workers with truly sustainable livelihoods that go well beyond the ₹1,000 daily wage that is currently in place. Having carried out pilot projects across the entire RPC sector, we have proved that a revenue share model has the potential to increase worker earnings to as much as 50 to 80,000 rupees per month. Workers will be empowered with flexible hours, providing them with control as to how much they need to work. We are also committed as an industry to always pay a fair price on the green leaf that they harvest.
Speaking exclusively with our television media spokesperson for the Planters Association of Ceylon, Dr. Roshan Rajdure, detailed how the sector holds an edge over global competition. Dr. Rajdure maintains that this will enable the sector to overcome recent setbacks driven by the pandemic and restricted access to agrochemicals.
Those are temporary snacks. Mainly at the time when glyphosate was banned, we had a little effect in Japan because they love Ceylon tea, and when we could not supply them the quantities, they got some other suppliers. But now I think slowly they are regaining their position as one of the premier exporters of Ceylon tea brand, because our quality, because of the small size of the country and the soil and climate and the weather variations from place to place, is unmatchable, because no other country can match the quality. So that's the advantage we have. And of course our sustainable agriculture practices, our good HRIR practices in looking after not only the workers, in terms of the non-workers as well, has been our calling card for being a differentiated product. So I think Sri Lankan tea industry is the most certified in the world. All Ethical Tea Partnership, ETP, and that is the Rainforest Alliance, FSC. We are easily the most certified tea industry in the world. So we conform to all global and international confirmations, requirements. There is absolutely no issue. In fact, tea industry personnel from other countries hold us as a benchmark, and they want to emulate this kind of certification and conformance practices that we have done.
Stay tuned for stock updates. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all share price index dropped 224.03 points to close at 8,267.77, and the S&P SL20 dropped 66.60 points to close at 2,518.83. The turnover was 1.1 billion rupees and over 46 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Until then, take care and good night.